Hi, it's Dale Alina here. It's a Sunday evening yet again, and as you can see from my bags behind me, I'm packing again to go back to Liverpool for the week of work. So Monday to Friday, I'm working out of town, but I get to come back on the weekends and see some friends and do things. Which I had a really nice weekend. Please excuse my voice. I've kind of lost it at the moment because I've got a bug of some sort that's really attacking my throat in particular. I caught it off some people at work who couldn't speak for a few days, so I'm not doing too badly. But I can't get my voice up very high, which is tricky because I'd like to be able to get it up more in a more feminine range, which takes work and practice. And this is kind of messing me up a little bit. But at least it's not like booming and deep and stuff, which I don't really want to do anymore. Um, so my week has been interesting. I had a good week. My work is hard at the moment, and maybe a little frustrating, but that's okay. Yesterday I got my hair done, which is always a real pleasure. Takes quite a few hours to do, but it's kind of pink, which I really like, and that'll last for a week or so, and it'll eventually, or 3 or 4 washes, and then the tone will end up being more blonde again. But it's more blonde all over, which I really like, and it's getting longer. It's good. So that's a real joy to me because I always wanted to have long hair. I eventually like to have a fringe as well, but I'm waiting. I'm going to have some facial surgery in December, and once that's healed and I'm used to that, then I will probably cut a fringe because at least I want to enjoy my forehead on its own for a little bit. So what have I noticed this week in Transland? This is obviously the highly powerful trans lobby, my bedroom. Well, I went out last night with friends. One of my friends, it was one of the first times out that she's been with a bunch of girls having drinks after she's had a baby. Well, not first time, but a good. She has limited options of time. So we went out for dinner and had drinks and things. It was good. I could barely speak, unfortunately, and I didn't stay up as late as some of the rest of them. But there's some interesting observations. It was really enjoyable. I really liked being there as one of the girls. It's really great, and they're really welcoming and inclusive and interested as well. We didn't just talk about trans stuff all the time because that would be really boring. But I did really notice, like, I had a particular thing I noticed. We were in a bar later on in the evening, and I had trouble speaking. And I've been in those situations with men, and people will just kind of ignore you because they can't hear you, and they'll just move on to some other conversation. But the women all leaned in. They all make the effort to listen to you when they can't quite hear you, to kind of show empathy with you. And I noticed it when I was talking, and they were all trying to hear me a bit harder, and it's just a little thing, but it's a difference between men and women that you might not always notice. What else is happening? Body's still changing. I'm obviously still quite a broad person in general. I'm looking at myself on the screen to check myself out, but I'm still getting a little bit more tissue through here, which is kind of fun, and they're quite tender, particularly today. And my hips are definitely getting bigger, and kind of rounder in a nice kind of soft shape, which is good. But I think I'm also just generally putting on weight because I don't think I'm eating brilliantly. A bit high in sugar at the moment and need to kind of cut it down, but I'm not too worried because as I'm trying to grow some bits, some weight isn't a bad thing, and there'll be other times where I can exercise more and kind of restrict my diet and things. But I'm being kind of relaxed about food at the moment. Just there's a lot of things going on in my life, and I don't need to be rigid about everything. What else is going on? Back to work tonight. I'm going to take a train back to Liverpool. Seem to spend a lot of my time on trains, and I kind of like it at the same time because there's more interaction with people when you're trans. Is always interesting. How are people going to receive you sitting on a train opposite people, or people coming down the corridor and kind of looking at you. It's always interesting to see what people's reactions are and whether they pick you out and do extra looks and stuff. People on the tube tend to stare and then they kind of look away, and then you catch them looking again, and that's okay. I don't really mind that. I kind of do the same thing. I'm always interested in how people look. So on the tube, being a photographer, so I'm kind of always checking people out a bit, and I must come across as a bit creepy. I hope I come across as less creepy now, maybe. But yeah, I think it's always interesting to kind of like be dressed and dress how I want to, because usually in the evenings. And on the train in particular, I kind of experiment a little bit, like usually wear a skirt and I wore kind of like heeled boots the other day, and really enjoyed kind of wearing those and getting used to them, and did quite a lot of walking in them last night actually, which was good, and they're quite comfortable, so that was useful. But yeah, it's sort of every time I go out amongst people in whatever I'm wearing, and is a kind of a test, a test of myself. Stepping out the door, usually once I have stepped out the door, I'm like, that's fine. I'm out the door. I might as well keep going. But just always keeping an eye on how people's reactions are and what they look at. And I think particularly today people were noticing my hair color because it is quite a stronger pink than before. And a lot of people complimented me on it, which is really good. And they probably noticed my shape is more V than maybe most women would be, but that's okay. And most people again are pretty friendly. I don't really see a lot of negativity in my day-to-day life as you would on the internet. I've kind of been really lucky. A lot of that stuff sort of passed me by a bit, maybe because I'm older and less seeming like easy pickings for someone who's a bully, perhaps, because I really don't give a shit. I have my own down periods, but they're not really to do with other people. They're more about my own thoughts and things like that. So I generally try and keep things really positive and happy, and things are going really well, really well. I had some lipstick on today, but it's sort of completely gone now. I just watched the MotoGP, and I'm a big fan of motorcycle racing, and it was a really good race. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, that's probably as much as I need to say this week. I will continue packing my bag and jump on the train and go back to Liverpool, and hopefully come and do one of these again next week, when actually I can probably include a bit of footage of Extinction Rebellion, which I'm going to do some filming for next Saturday evening with this camera. This is a A7S camera and a stabilized gimbal and things, and we're going to a director friend of mine and I are going to go shoot for them to actually make a kind of a promo for Extinction Rebellion, and it's kind of the least I can do, and I can't do much, but I can help out in my own area where I can, as everyone else should as well. Cool. Talk to you again soon. Bye.